Hey guys, so I just saw this from Denims. It is called Ongoing Lawsuit of Denims. Denims reacts. So she's reacting to her own Twitter post where she actually talks about both statements of copyright infringement that she made. And she talks about her lawyers, peak lawyering. Her lawyers, by the way, are exactly the same lawyers, even not even just the same law firm. That's close enough, but they are exactly the same lawyers that Casey Tron had. The lawyers that suggested that Casey Tron apologized in the way that she apologized. Let me repeat that again. It's the same law firm, the same two lawyers who gave Casey Tron the advice and greenlit the apology. That is who Denims is taking to fight Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein's lawyer is now fighting NVIDIA, the trillion-dollar company that supposedly is holding the entire stock market hostage. Very interesting company. Maybe we'll make some videos about NVIDIA in the future. Denims, her logic, so I can read you some crazy stuff, right? Peak lawyering. Peak lawyering is her lawyers telling her not to talk about this on live stream. No lawyer in their right mind would allow their clients to do this. In fact, I would imagine that the better lawyers who have reputational at stake, and don't get me wrong, their reputations are at stake. I covered the Carl Jobs lawyers in great detail, and they did such a horrible job on his case, losing almost a maximal they could possibly lose. His reputation is basically cooked. Everyone knows who his name is. Everyone knows that he did a bad job. I would be shocked if he was able to get another high profile, or that he even would want another high profile case. This is why I believe it will settle. What evidence do I have that it will settle? Well, Casey Tron was going to battle it out. She was collecting donations on the GoFundMe to do what? To battle Ethan Klein, right? And a few days later, she just apologized, and that was the end of that. So Denims' reaction to it is, again, probably 95% of lawyers, upwards of 99% of lawyers, would just be like, please don't talk about it. And specifically, do not talk. She spends a great deal of time, and even in her tweet, I'll just read it to you. Specifically, do not talk about the law as if you understand the law. If you are a non-lawyer, stop pretending to be a lawyer. Because judges hate that, right? They hate it. It's like when you go to the doctor and you went on Wikipedia and you check something up, and now you're telling the doctor why you're sick. The doctors hate that. My doctor has a sign saying like, hey, if you want to Google something, next time don't come. So let me read you what she said, and I'll kind of emphasize why this is so wrong. The first statement is my response to a chat message. I read it out loud. Quote, we're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the nuke views, end quote. And then replied, this is her reply, quote, yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it, end quote. She later goes on and says, this is basically self-admission. I hope this is self-evident, but it would be bizarre for me to take that opportunity to bring attention to this group of people and how they actually should watch his video on his channel. It is in my place, I don't care, and making a big deal out of it would only encourage the zealotry that Ethan is upset about. I merely acknowledged that I was going to react to it and moved on. Drawing a broader narrative based on a chat message I did not write is delusional. So this is typical. Like I wish Denims has to take the LSAT. This is typical fallacy in LSAT. Any lawyer, any law student, anyone taking the LSATs to get into law school will tell you what the fallacy is. So there are two statements here. We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the nuke views. There's no argument. That's a live chat She read the live chat. Makes sense. The problem is the reply. Yeah. Okay, the reply, yes. Full pause. So if somebody is saying, did you commit copyright infringement? And that was a chat, and you just read the chat, and your response was, yeah, I did. Wouldn't that be admission of guilt? Yeah, it is. So by responding, yeah, that's enough. Right? That's your response. You're not at that point. You're not reading chat anymore. So there's a confusion over what the problem is. The problem is not the chat. The problem is the response to the chat. If somebody chatted, "Hey, are we committing copyright infringement against Ethan tonight?" and you said, "Yeah," that would be it. Now the question is, what does this mean? We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the nuke views. I think it's a pretty obvious meaning that we're going to watch you so we don't have to watch Ethan. Otherwise, they would have to give the nuke views. If you did not, let's take the double negative. If you did not stay live, we would have to watch Ethan. That's essentially the logic behind that. Now, the second one is, in my opinion, just as bad, if not worse, right? So let's take a look at the second one. So, battling sickness right now. The second statement is a throwaway shill comment I said after the video before signing off. Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content. Now, when she re-uploaded her stream, that part was missing because she understood how bad that particular part is. Probably the first statement she didn't realize was bad until her attorneys told her how bad it was. The second statement, any sane person, non-lawyer, can figure out that's very bad to say. Right, let me repeat it again. Well, guys, if you enjoy not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content. As an aside, that statement is factual. Almost certainly, if someone watched my coverage, they have no interest in watching Ethan's video. No, your first statement contradicts that when you said, yeah. So you already know, because that happened, the timeline of what's happening is they don't want to watch Ethan's video, but they want to know what it's about, so they're going to watch your video. You already know that from the first statement. Her lawyers need to get her under control because she is a non-lawyer messing with legal fact. And even when she's saying it's factual, they have no interest. When people use extreme words, how do you know 100% of the people watching your video have no interest in watching Ethan Klein's video? Did you talk to them? Do you have any proof? Do you have documentation? No, because you have no idea how many people are watching your video. And a judge is going to tear this apart. It just doesn't. At most, you can say this is a mean-spirited comment and poor taste. Making a joke like this is too far, and that Ethan Klein deserves more respect. We can agree to disagree. So here, again, we have a statement literally asking, so throw a prime is asking for money. What has this all been about for Denims? The GoFundMe, the multiple GoFundMes. Money. It's always been about money to Denims, and a judge is going to see this, and she will be punished. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hi, guys.